Morning, everybody. Let's get it. Market just opened, so now let's see what we get here. I have a feeling that's going to be a good day because we had a nice consolidation in yesterday's PM session, and then we started trading down here during London. We just pulled back up. Maybe we get a short in the beginning and then a buy back up later towards these highs. I don't know. Or if we go hit these highs here first and then we trade back down. So I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty good session if we see something. As you could tell, the days before, we had liquidity hit in the pre-market. Where was that? Over here. So Monday started selling off first. Not really anything in the sell-off. Then we had another one here on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we had liquidity. And it was kind of hard to look for a buy within here, but that did buy up. Then we had a nice little pullback right within here, but then it just consolidated. Nothing too crazy there. But now we're just going to keep observing to see what we get here. If we get anything nice. But going over what happened here in the market. London session. Well, midnight opened over here. Traded up higher, came back down. Manipulated people up in the beginning. Consolidated right after the London Open. So opened up, traded down, consolidated, and it started to pull back, using inversions to come to this sell side down to here, and then we stalled here. We never even hit this low down here. So pre-New York, we started trading up higher. We took out this high, no wick candle. Now we're starting to trade down. Wonder if we're going to get down into this low one more time before we move up higher. So I want to pay attention to what we get within here, if that even does present itself or not, or if we want to keep moving higher in that area. But we also just took out this high here, so that's giving us bearish SMT with YM. 4 hour, coming up to this 4 hour order block. We could start trading down possibly. It really depends if we want to inverse this area or not. And get more SMT possibly up within this high. So we're going to keep paying attention to what we get within here. We don't really have many inversions within this area, so I just want to monitor all this. See what we get. All right, looking like we're trading up towards this high. We might come up towards these relative equal highs that are sitting up within here. So I want to keep paying attention to see if we get up above these highs within here or up into here. It's a lot of relative equal highs up here. If it wants to get up there, cool. If not, then obviously we just wait. I'm gonna mark up our opening range. Doesn't look like it's that big. So we opened here and we closed here. Draw this out, the opening range. So I'm going to pay attention to all this to see what we get within here. How's this want to play out? Does this reject here or does it not? We also have the opening range from yesterday too, where we have this low here. If we do want to trade down, we can get into there. But overall, we are bullish. A higher time frame. So if we go to the daily, really want to mark up what we got. So we have yesterday's closure here. I haven't put this on the chart yet. And then we have this open right here. So if I pay attention to that open right there, that'd be good to pay attention to. So we're coming up to our midnight level. That's up within here. Just want to pay attention to what we actually got in this price action. We came down, made a lower low here, and now we're moving up higher. We wanted to see if we can get up above this 1 hour for value gap, which we did. The 30-minute for value gap closes in version 2. That was bullish. And we traded down on this 30-minute, and it's looking like we're going to possibly continue higher. It depends if we inverse that 1 minute or not. But we already took out the high, so it's kind of like 50-50 range. You can make a bias for both sides right now. So notice how we're playing out this 4 hour for value gap too. So I want to keep paying attention to that. We have 21 minutes left in this 4 hour. So we got this order block here too. So we're going to see if we want to play off that order block because we took out that high in the 4 hour and now we're trading off that. Maybe it does start to reverse and come back down lower. I don't really know yet. We're trading up to this high. We hit the midnight level. Oops, didn't mean to do that. We just hit the midnight level. We have bearish SMT with these wicks now. So if we pay attention to this 1 minute, if we inverse this 1 minute, it's looking like we could come for these lows now. And also this 2 minute as well. If we inverse this 2 minute. We just inverse a 15-second right here. So this could actually send price lower as well. So pay attention to that. We've got all these relative equal highs here on ES. I don't really like that for a short, but anything's possible. We got these relative equal lows down here. Probably don't have a big opening range on ES either. No, we don't. So close, open. Let's draw that out. We don't have a big opening range now. But it's looking like we're going to inverse this 1 minute here. Just like that. So let's see if we inverse this 1 minute. If something actually does want to present here with itself. We could possibly go 20 points if we inverse this 1 minute here. We just inverse the 1 minute. Let's see if this wants to go 20 points now. From here. So I'm paying attention to this short-term low and also this short-term low here. If those short-term lows get hit, then it's invalidating the trade. Notice how we're coming up into this for value gap here. And we're still rejecting there. 5-second time frame. Yep, just moving lower. This is looking like a nice little move here. Too early to enter on my eval, but see if one's come a little bit lower or not. We're just trading into this discount within this order block. Get our 20 points, that'd be nice. If not, oh well. Like I said, too early to trade on my eval. I like to wait till 9:45 usually. That was an okay setup. Took it on the paper. That was it. Trade they open on another tab? No, it is. Wow. Gonna buy one when we hit the 20 points. Just bought one more. So close that out. So we're in the short still. From this account. Let's see if we get down to the 830. I don't know if it's gonna do that or not, but see how far down this wants to really go today. I'm okay with letting the last one run in case it really wants to rip down to these lows, but I don't know if I have a whole lot of faith in it reaching all the way down there or not. Might just come back to break even, which is fine. So tapping this for a value gap again. Let's see how this wants to play out. So we came up with, hit the highs at SMT, came down, closed the inverse, and we just moved 20 points. Not bad at all. If it wants to reach towards these equal lows, I'll take one more off down here. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So it'd be all the way down there. I think we can go lower if we do break that low, but we'll see. About to hit out a break even. That's fine. Just got these equal highs up here. It's like the one issue like that we have in this situation. If we inverse this 2 minute now. So let's say we have like this 2 minute here. So if we inverse this 2 minute candle, it's looking like we could go up higher. So I want to be able to pay attention to that. So let's see. All right, break even on the rest of it. It's about a 20-point move here. Based on that inverse. So let's watch what we get now. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame. I'm actually gonna open up a new tab here. So all that markup's not in the chart. All right. So we have this 5-minute order block. This is where we are. Let's go to the 15-minute. We have these relative equal highs up here now, and we traded down. We had SMT here. We traded back up, and now market open. We hit this high, and we had SMT at the highs here with YM. And what we did, we just pulled back into the middle of this range. But we had that 1-minute inverse, which created that short that we had over here. So after this 1 minute closed, created that short from here to here, and then the rest at break even here. So now I'm looking to see, do we get a 2-minute inverse closure on this because we hit this internal low? So if I measure this range here, let's measure this up. We're in a discount. We have relative equal highs up here, and we had all these lows taken, and then this low taken. And then we shifted up into here, internal liquidity. We just hit internal liquidity. Now we have more liquidity up here. Does this now inverse and give us something to work with? Maybe another move like this, and then come take out these highs? Or do we just continue down lower? So we go to the 15-minute. We get the overall narrative of this price action that we have here. Let me get this off the screen. Let's go over here. So the overall narrative, we have a consolidation through yesterday's PM session, and then we manipulated price down during London and pre-New York, and now we're pulling back into this range here. We're hitting this order block, and we're rejecting this order block. Does that, like, the question is, does this order block keep sending price down lower towards all this other liquidity based on this other range that we have here on this leg? Or does this 4-hour gap keep sending price up higher? If this keeps sending price higher, we got these relative equal highs up there. And we just need to keep watching signatures of price if it wants to keep going higher. We came down, hit this order block. We inverse this 30-minute for value gap, and we're just pulling back down. So if we inverse this 2-minute, I don't like taking 2-minute IFVGs because I like looking at the lower time frame for a better entry, but I still want to pay attention to that. So we got SMT at these lows now. We have all these relative equal highs. We got this 2-minute IFVG. I'm just looking at all three now. How are we looking here on YM? So if you're looking at YM here, we had lower highs, but a higher high made here with divergence on RSI. But a divergence, I don't really use an indicator as much because you can't really predict how far down that's going to send price. You can just predict, like, up here we can get a possible short, which the short setup happened here on NQ. But now I want to watch this for value gap. How does this for value gap actually react to price? I like that we keep moving lower here, but we just move higher here. We're using this 30-second for value gap here. But if we close this one, we could possibly move higher. And that means if we close this in like 5 seconds on YM, maybe the next 1-minute candle inverse is this. And then we get our inverse here too. So we got 57 seconds left on this inverse. We'll see if this candle wants to get inversed or not. $25 seconds left. Because this could be fake SMT at the high. It's already so bullish. But now we're coming up into this 15-minute wick that rejected really hard. We have this 15-minute IFVG. So just close that 2-minute. Let's see how this 2-minute wants to play off price here. Let's see if this wants to move higher or not. Because we are still moving lower here. So price is diverging. Ideally, I'd want to see this low stay intact, so like a 13-point risk here. Looking for 20. Relative equal highs up there. There's always going to be something I don't like about it. Like I don't like how this 15-minute is here. We're in this 15-minute wick, but I do like that we swept sell side. I still think it's higher probability that we do move up there based on that IFVG. We have this 3-minute IFVG too, so I want to pay attention to that. But if we do start to fold over, I'll be prepared to take a short down. Short down into this range here. So I haven't taken anything on my eval yet. Still waiting on something a little bit more clear. I'd rather just tape read and observe this one here. I'll paper trade it, but I don't want to risk it because we're playing in the middle of this range here. I know we have the equal highs, we have these equal highs, but just because we never swept these lows again, we left all these lows down here. So I just want to observe to see how this starts to play out. Because if we sweep these highs and we get a bearish setup, I'd probably like that bearish setup a lot better. That'd be a lot more A+. Just because we didn't sweep these lows down here and we swept the highs here on YM. That's why I think this trade here is, I don't know, I would give this like a B setup personally. I don't think it's A+ at all. So now we just close that 3-minute. So notice how that 3-minute didn't even close the inversion here. So I really wouldn't want to see that come back down. So like I said, I'll paper this. I'm going to move this basically to where that 2-minute inversion is. Let's move the stops in. Let's see if that 2-minute wants to reject or not. I'm gonna get all three of these. I'm just watching to see how this pulls back and how it respects this area. We're making a higher high and a lower high here. I'm not really liking this consolidation, so I don't know. I don't think it's even worth being in this trade. This is not an A plus. So I'd say this is like a B setup. I wouldn't want to see this low broken on the 3 minute. So this 3 minute gap should stay open, which is what we're seeing right now. So let's put the stop loss in right there. If this rips up, that'd be cool. But I think I'd prefer the short if that does present itself. So take one off at the high right here, and then we'll take another one off at the 20 points, and then I'll let the last one go. If it wants to keep running, then cool. I'll take it off. We could probably take it off here, but just let it run to see. We'll just trail the last one. So looking at all three of these indices now, I really want to understand what's happening here with order flow. So we made a lower low, higher low. We got these relative equal highs here on YM. We're coming up to this rejection block here. 5 minute closure, looking very nice. I'm just trying to find points of reference that I don't want to see price come back down below. We're hitting this fair value gap. We just closed this inverse on the 30-second. This is likely to come down. We just took out these relative equal highs. I'm going to break even this trade here. Okay, it's looking like it just got hit. Alright. We'll leave that trade the way it is. It's obviously just coming up and using this rejection block right here. So that's okay. If we hit this high, which is still possible, I want to see if this high gives us something within here to short. Still looking like it could go, but I don't know, your risk reward has to be really there if you really want to take something good. And the risk reward here, it's just not, like I said, it was a B setup, so I'm okay with not even being in it. Not even on a paper account. I'd rather just wait out on that one. So let's see. Yeah, this thing looks like it actually might still rip up. Yeah, I was just pulling back down on in one more time. Yeah, break even was fine. It was a small little loss though. Wasn't really much. Entry there. It's supposed to be a break even. I moved the stops to break even and then they just got hit. It's all good. Yeah, so usually what I like to see is when this inversion closes, so entry, right here after the close, and if it pulls back up, we had bearish SMT of these wicks, and then we also had the rejection block that we hit, and we pulled back down. We could still use this fair value gap as a support before ripping up, so notice how we just hit that high, which is nice. And having no emotion towards that with being break even on this is fine. It's no big deal at all. Look at it just rip right back down on in. But what I was saying, what I really want to see is price gravitate towards this high. And if we just pull back and keep consolidating, that's less risk to reward. Like it's making it less probable. And even on a higher time frame, if you're getting the observation of it not really respecting, I'd rather not be in it. But saying that we didn't even hit this high here yet on ES, it's making me think that we do want to keep gravitating up higher. So even if I did leave these positions on and I took one off here, that would have came back down to break even, because no matter what, the rules say when we hit a high, we got to move to break even. So that would have just broke even the rest. And still, it's kind of 50-50. We have higher high, lower high. Okay. And now we're in a fair value gap here. So does this fair value gap on YM want to inverse and we rip up to these highs and possibly even up here again? Or do we want to rip up here and then trade back down lower? Hoping for the short too. Yeah. Yep. I hear ya. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this short to come in a little bit later. This all depends on price action, whatever price wants to tell us. So we're in our 950, 1010 macro, so let's see if we're just going to use these highs here. I honestly would love to see these highs taken here on ES before we short down. But at the same time, we got SMT on the 4-hour wicks now. The 1-hour wicks. We're in the opening range gap here on ES. So we're using that as right now as resistance. So we'll see if it wants to flip for support or not. Yeah, really not too bad. I just don't like... This week has been so weird with price, but look how it's just coming up. It's inversing this, and then it's just chopping around. And then we close bullish, and then the next candle opens, it trades right back down, and comes right back up and closes up above it. We now have this 1 minute order block here. We just hit the order block. Now it's looking like we're moving higher as we just closed up above this inverse here on ES. So it's looking like ES is ready to rip up towards these highs now. Let's look like it's ready to rip up to here, to 50.16.25. So it's looking like we're ready to rip up to there. Get all these relative equal highs here on NQ. So I'm just going through all these charts here just to really see like what we're getting. Are we getting like SMT, which we are. It's still showing signs of moving higher. We're just using, this is probably going to be used as a breaker now if we're going to go bullish. So this up close candle here, you can draw that out. That's considered a breaker. And I usually don't trade like that, but that's what we could be using. And that 15-minute gap I was talking to you about earlier, it closed. This was like 4 minutes ago. It closed. It closed bullish on this 15-minute gap. And we've been respecting that 15-minute gap, as you can tell, right here. But we'll see. We'll see. I just want to keep watching this price. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing this if we sell off into here and we stay down here, and then we actually just pull up higher high, and then we have a lower high. That would be a really nice short if we hit this high here first. That might not happen. We might just rip up to the high there. Oh yeah. So we're continuing to hit this high now. We just hit up another liquidity level. That's up here. We have another one up a little bit higher. if it wants to keep going. Then we have this one here. So how does this react to price? Look at that, just pulled right back down now. Crazy. Now does this use it as a breaker, this breaker here, to send price lower, or does it not? That's the real question now. Because now, let's see what we have here. Let's go to the 9 minute. We're rejecting this area still, up within here. Still bullish on this 15 minute. Let's see how this 15 minute wants to close. You got 8 minutes left. Bearish SMT in these wicks up within here. Because this could just pull back and take out these internal lows and keep going higher. A huge bearish SMT though. Just watching and waiting. We hit the high, we're pulling back down. I don't see any like 5 minute inverses really. We have a 4 minute inverse, well, fair value gap down there. I'm gonna get this one off my screen just to get stuff off. No 2 minute fair value gap, no 1 minute fair value gap. So like this is kind of like back and forth price action here. So it's hard to really find anything you really want to work with. But we gotta keep in mind we're still in this breaker here. I want to see how this breaker plays. But we're also in this bearish breaker too. So we're in between a bullish and a bearish PD array. So we're just trying to pay attention to what we get here. The win rate, let's see. If I'm following the rules, I'd say 75 to 80%. If I'm really following my rules and I'm like in my A game state of mind every time. But if I'm not, here, I'm trying to pull it up. But if I'm not, it's like 63. So I'll pull this up over here. So like this is like more reality. 63% win rate, but that's with right here. As you can see, this pullback, this is not following the rules to the T. But if I was following the rules in like sticking to my plan every single time, this is probably 75 to 80% instead of 63. But I still think 63 is a pretty good win rate if you're still trading like a 2 to 1 on an account like that. And there's people that have like, I don't know, 40% win rates, but they have like 3 to 1s, 4 to 1 risk rewards. It really depends on your style of trading. And like there's some people that have like a 90% win rate, but they're risking, let's say they risk $100, they're making $40. So it's like a 0.4 to 1 risk to reward, but they have like an 85 to 90% win rate on it. So there's multiple ways to do it, but it really just depends on your own style. So I'm just trying to find something significant here in the market. Based on market structure that we're in now, we came up, we hit this high here, and now we're pulling back. So when we hit a high, we can expect to pull back just like yesterday. Notice how we hit this high here, but we had a higher high over here to reach to. So when we hit the high, we just pulled back and we took internal liquidity. And then we had an internal shift with an inversion to go long. So I wonder if that's what's going to happen today. We take an internal high here, and we just pull back as expected, look for internal liquidity, and then we get an internal shift back up to this high to this high. Maybe that happens, and it's respecting this 15-minute order block we have here. So I want to see what happens within this price here. But obviously, you got equal lows here. So I would like to see something like this, maybe with like an SMT divergence, market structure shift, inversion, and then a trade up. Or leave the lows, shift up here, give us something more, inversion, market structure shift, SMT maybe, and then a trade down to these lows. I'm okay with either the buy or the sell right now. I just need more information on either or. And like that takes time, and like that's like the hardest part is patience for people. Like trading is boring. So really just trying to pay attention to what we can get. So what do we have here? Higher high. And so we made the lower high here. But it's not really giving us an inversion. It's giving us 30 seconds, but like the 30-second, I personally don't like to trade the 30-second as much. It really depends how like risky it is or whatever. But it seems like the 30-second has been giving like so many setups like this week. And I'm not a huge 30-second trader. But it's because they happen so fast and they don't give me enough time to really think through the process. I'm going to short 1786, 46. Let's see what happens. 1780. Oh, 17846. 17846. Okay. Yeah. There you go. We got the SMT up here. We got this low right here. I don't know how much you're looking. How many points are you trying to get off a trade here? We still got this volume imbalance here on the 2 minutes, so that could hit this volume imbalance. Trade away. We got these, like, these are like equal lows now. We could reach to. Go down to a 30-second. I want to see what's going on down here. So we got all these relative equal lows that we're probably going to hit at some point. It's just a matter of when. So YM's reaching lower. This is just trading back up on into this range here. New 15-minute just opened. Got a rejection block at 851. So maybe it hits that and trades down, or just trades here and starts trading down. We'll see. So the 15-minute just opened, and we just instantly started moving higher. And this, if this does want to short, this could just end up being a wick. Personally, it's too early for me to tell right now. Leaving a lot of equal lows, even on ES, we're leaving equal lows. We're back up to the midnight level on NQ. Yeah, if you're in the short, I don't know how big your stop loss is, but if you took the trade according to your plan, that's awesome. Stick with it. I think it can go either way right now, but that's just like how I look at the market. And I know what I got to look for, like when it comes to my trading plan. I know we're all different, but yeah, it's all good. I'm trying to find an example of a short that I. It's more of like a continuation short. I'm looking for something like this. If I'm gonna short, SMT, inversion closure, retest, something like this. Trade back in, retest, inversion, target lower. So that's all I'm really looking for. Or something like yesterday. I didn't take this on the eval account, but an inversion on the 30-second, shorting it from the inversion after taking the high. But something like that. YM is ripping down. This is weird. You got YM selling off, but ES is not ES. NQ is buying up. So it's kind of like a weird market. We're trading down below these lows here on YM. So we'll see what happens with that. So I want to go to the 4 hour. I want to see what we're getting on the 4 hour here. So no SMT really on the 4 hour. The 1 hour we got SMT. So we're up above this 30-second IFVG now. So I wonder if this 30-second IFVG is going to send price up above this high here. Once more. But I'm not trading it. We got these equal lows down here. Got these relative equal highs here. So if we hit that high and we leave these highs here, that could actually be. Now we have this 3-minute fair value gap now. So if that actually closes with the fair value gap, if we hit this high again, we could inverse something within here. Or we can just stall here, you know, it's on the 5-second we have a fair value gap here. So maybe this 5-second fair value gap actually just sends price lower. I don't know. We're just very close to this high here. So we'll see. I'm still neutral right now, personally. Because this is the candle here that took liquidity too, so that's a very strong candle. Well, let's watch and see here. So just inverse that 1 minute on YM. Now ripping up. We got this fair value gap with this breaker, but we'll see if we want to trade this breaker and keep shorting down or not. See, now we're rejecting that high. Let's see what we get here. Three-minute volume imbalance it's playing off of. 3-minute for value gap. Still nothing's A+ for me yet. Okay, I came back to that 30-second inversion and just tapped it again. So we went long from this 30-second inversion, pulled back down. Now we came up to this high. So we pay attention to when it hits this high now. What happens here with ES and YM? So YM's coming into this fair value gap. ES, I would still like to see go higher and hit this high, these equal highs up here. Because we were playing this fair value gap earlier and then it pulled back down on in. So now let's see what happens. We just hit that high. Again. So if we really look at what's going on here. So the question is, what do we get? So a lot of people short here, here. Stops taken here, here, and here. Now we have an inverse. Right here based on a 3-minute. A 1-minute. So we got this 1-minute inverse. Fair value gap. So we want to see this 1-minute inverse. It's going to go short. This 30-second just inverse there, but we're playing back and forth with multiple PD arrays here. I just don't like these equal highs here in ES. And now we're creating SMT at these lows. Yeah, this would be against my rules to trade this. I was going to take this 3-minute inversion, but we just hit all these equal lows here, and now we're creating SMT. Alright. That just moved way too fast. And like, that's like such a deep discount. Like, we could still sell off, but... So now we have this 3-minute inversion. So if we just look at this, from this point of view, we have this 3-minute IFVG we could possibly sell off from. Our time frame, we hit the high, SMT and these wicks. So we hit external, we can go to external. Honestly, it's not too bad for a short. All these equal lows here. I want to pay attention to this. Because now we have the SMT now on, let's see, these 30-second wicks. Now we got SMT on this wick down here at this low. want to pay attention to what we get. Do we trade down to these equal lows here or do we not? So we got this 3-minute fair value gap that we just inversed. We traded up, made a swing high, SMT at the highs. We got this breaker again that we're back into. We got the 5-minute order block though. So let's just see what we get in here. I wonder if we want to get back up into here some more and then we start selling off again more later. So I would want to pay attention to something like that. Wonder if we're going to get up into here some more. Or if we want to inverse this and keep going higher. Just continue to watch this here. So got that 5-minute order block. It's looking like it's playing that order block right here. This 3-minute never came back up on in. Well, 2-minute did here. But we also just hit the 2-minute now here. We got all these equal lows. I wonder if these equal lows are going to get hit or if they're not. If it's going to hit these equal lows and bounce higher or if it's going to continue to sell off. Let's see. So making a higher high here on Dow, lower high here. I don't know, it's still not A+ for me for a short yet. I think it's higher probability it does short here. Just want to wait for more information. Like I said, these 3-minute inverses, I like them, but like if one of these other indices takes out equal lows, I'm not really a huge fan. So what I would really like to see, honestly, is this trade back up to these highs, and then we stay within this range here, and then we start to shift down lower. I would love to see that. But if we see that, I'll take it on my eval. But now I'll just take it on a paper account and see if this trade wants to short from the paper. But we'll see. I'll know my setup when I see it, and it looks okay, but I just know like my best setups happen if something like this does occur. Something like that. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, we got an FOMC member speaking today at 12 again. There we go. It's selling off. It's pretty nice. Let's see if it wants to move 20 points or not. And the stops to break even there. Wants to move 20 points. I'll take 2 off. Go third one if it wants to rip down. Let's say down here. Let's see what happens. It's looking like we're gonna keep falling down, yeah. There we go. You notice how that all just played out? I didn't really like how this, I know it closed here, we had these equal lows. I just didn't like how we hit this low here first. There was just something about it I didn't really like. Now coming down into this discount here. Order block again. We have these equal highs here. If we inverse this 1 minute, notice how we have SMT now. We're about to inverse this 1 minute. Okay, we just had break even. I was gonna buy that inverse there, but it just fucking hit the high already. Damn, this market's just moving so damn fast. Like, give me a second here. Damn. I was gonna buy that inverse, son of a bitch. Excuse my language, but damn. Those are my inverses I really like, is when we have these equal lows and we consolidate and we smack them and then get that inverse. I was just trying to pull up my chart, but there we go, I missed it. But that's alright. I was going to go 20 points on the inverse here. Because these work out like 90% of the time, if not more. So we're probably going to work up to the 20 points. It's too late now because we already hit the internal highs and like stats would already be at break even. And just in case, we had SMT at the lows. So pay attention to this 2 minute, and we'll see if we get another setup, but that was the highest probability to the low there to now be at break even. Because this one never went for the 20 points, so that hit break even here. So we're pulling back, we hit this order block, rejected the order block now. We got a macro starting in about, I don't know, 15 minutes. So we could be getting, still looking like it could short. We're getting all this trendline liquidity here. We already took out this high. Just that 1 minute buy could have been a little scalp up to possibly reach this high here. Like I said, it's too late to get in. Wow, that thing ripped. Even this could be a break-even trade. I'm not in it, but like, let's see. It already moved 12 points, 12 and a quarter. But this trade would be a break-even unless it hit the 20. Hypothetically. Okay, we're about to close this 2 minute and the 3 minute, inverse this 2 and 3 minute. Let's close the 2 minute on this as well. So that's actually not a bad inverse right there for a buy. But since we took out this high, I'm not really a huge fan. This could be like yesterday though, where we hit the high and then we just pull back down, take out the internal liquidity, and then we keep ripping up higher. This is like a seek and destroy condition. We got all these equal highs here on ES that we could rip up to. Gun to my head, that's what we're doing here. So got this fair value gap that we're playing in. Making these lower lows here. I'm gonna keep watching this area. It's not ready yet. And if it goes without me, I'm fine with not being in it completely. But if we inverse this, if we close this and then inverse this, we'll see. You notice we hit that 1 hour low here, but we never hit it here on NQ. And now if we hit this low here on YM and we just pull back slightly here, that could be a really big bullish sign. Because we hit this 4 hour low, if we do. Put an alert right there, just in case. And then we don't hit the 4 hour low here, which we're not. Okay, if it just comes a little bit lower, please don't leave the equal lows. If these leave the equal lows, I'm not going to like this. Come on, YM, pull down a little more. There we go, there we go, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now it's gonna look like we're gonna close this. Close this out. So we're hitting this low again here on ES. Bearish SMT in the higher time frame. We used to have relative equal highs in this other time frame here. We set this fair value gap. I want to watch this 1 minute inversion here. This is what I want to pay attention to. How far down do we trade into this range here? That's the real question. We have 50% of this range, which is good. I like it. I like what we're seeing. All right. If we get a 2 minute closure like this in the next minute and a half, this could really just start going bearish. It's just consolidating, dude. It's honestly just up, back and forth, like seek and destroy. Take out the high, take out the low, come back in. It's hard to read, to be completely honest. We got all the trendline liquidity done to the downside. We took out a lot of buy side already. I just don't like we're just selling off so hard on Dow, but we're not over here. About to get our macro here soon. Got all the sell side here on ES down here, down below these lows. Yeah, if we get this 2 minute to inverse down, this might be, yeah, 13 seconds left. This could be a good play. And all these relative equal lows down here. I think this is worth the risk. We had all these equal lows down here on ES that we could reach to. I know we just hit the 830 level, which is news. But I didn't even hit the news lows yet. Just curious to see how this wants to play out in here. So it looked like we're going to come right back up above this. And we're going to close this 1 minute inverse and actually possibly rip that high. But we'll see. We'll see. If we don't close that inverse, it might be golden. So we just took out these highs here. But we didn't here. This market is just honestly really hard to read in my opinion. Now we got this 2 minute order block. We just came right back up above that. We closed up above it. So this trade is basically invalidated at this point. We got 6 minutes for our macro, so we're going to see if we can get something to play out in our macro. So the 1050 to 1110 macro. We'll see. Look at this 5 minute. This is like a bunch of garbage here. So I'm not really trying to like push anything through that. We get another bullish closure. Let's see if that we're at that 1 minute inverse that I was talking about earlier. We traded into a discount in this order block. Close this 1 minute inverse. Does it want to come smoke out these highs now or not? That's the question here. When we traded down into this discount here, we hit the 830 open. We have all these relative equal lows down here that we could reach down into if it wants to sell off. We also have these highs up here, so it's kind of like a hard area to be in. And the question is, do we want to smoke out these highs again and then get an inverse to sell off down lower, or do we not? So it's a real question here. So we just closed that 1 minute inverse right here before hitting this high. And now we're ripping up towards these highs here. So let's see what happens. Yeah, 4 minutes left. Well, this is just us trading down to this discount here. Ended up sending price up towards these highs again. Crazy. With a 4-hour low getting taken, made a higher low here. $15-minute coming down to this rejection block. Making a higher low here. Trading down to the discount at the 8:30 open from the news. We're overall bullish. We had a fake 2-minute inverse. After trading up to this high, we inversed this. But this candle took out the internal liquidity, which I missed that long on because it just happened so fast, didn't even hesitate. It just opened up and started rocketing higher. Pulled back down. Fake 2-minute inverse here. And then we ended up closing this 1-minute inverse that we were looking at earlier. And then it started trading up higher from that 1-minute inverse here. Very clever on the market maker's perspective. It had the goal of these highs here. And we ended up hitting them. But we hit them multiple times from here, here, here. So every time it hit it, it just pulled back. And ES has left these equal highs that are still up here. And the question is, does NQ want to keep moving higher when this possibly reaches these highs now? It's looking like we can get up there. Our macro just started. But we could also inverse this and come right back down. If we inverse this 1 minute, we could trade right back down now. Very, very, very bullish. Wild. PayPal's dying. Google's up. Bitcoin's up. So notice higher high, lower high, lower high. Yes, there's strength in this, but how long can that strength really last? Massive candles ripping out of here. Minute inverse sent price down. Then we didn't have any inverses within here. Traded up, came back down. Another inverse here. 3-minute inverse here to possibly short down, but really not the best setup. Didn't really give me much to work with within there. I would say it didn't give me much to work with because if you really look, we traded this low. We took out this short-term low here, which means we can pull back strongly into this range, which we did. Then pulled back down, so it didn't even really move much at all. 15 points. Traded back up here, inverse this, didn't even move much, came back down. We came back down into this order block, but we also inversed this 2-minute without hitting out this high, so it's not really a valid setup, even though we are trading down here too with the 8:30 open, so it's best to wait in this situation and see if we pull back down and give us another retrace with SMT. We ended up trading up to this high after the 1 minute inversion closer. Closed that inversion, and we traded up towards this high here. Now we got these relative equal highs here on ES. And now we're just trending up here, so it's a matter of time on what price really wants to do here. Does it want to keep going down on YM? Would that drag these down or what? So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep watching here. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So we're going to keep watching here what's happening in price at these relative equal highs here on ES. NQ just took out all these highs up here. And order flow from this 15-minute down to this 5-minute rejection. Internal liquidity. So it's just going back and forth. External to internal. Back to the external here. Not really giving Great setups. 1 minute inverse is okay, but still not great. It's looking like we're going to work our way back up towards these highs here on ES. It's not giving any clear price action. I think I'm going to call it quits here for rates now. Actually, I'll wait a little bit longer because we got 10 minutes left in this macro. I wonder if we're going to pull down into this fair value gap here and give us some more rejection to go higher here. Because if we're making these relative equal highs, I mean, we just hit this higher high here. We did over here as well. Let's see YM. Lower high. Nothing's really that clear, but if we pull back down into this fair value gap, we can get some price action to get back up into there. But I don't know if that's going to be within the next 10 minutes, though. I'd be really surprised if we just leave all these equal highs up here. A lot of equal highs in ES and equal lows in ES as well. 15 minutes open. We're starting to trade down. That's a good sign. All right, this market's probably going to get boring for a little bit, so I am going to hop off. If we do get a continuation from here, that might be nice, but still, we hit this high, made lower highs here. I'm not really paying too much attention to all of this because we hit the highs. If it wants to continue, it'll continue. I would like to see these lows hit before a continuation here on ES, but we could just play in this discount and trade back up and go along from there. But we'll see. We got 5 more minutes. The start of this macro, so we'll see if we get any accumulation here and a buyback up, but I wouldn't even like doing that with all these equal lows down here. So the narrative really has to be there. And we had all this trendline liquidity, and I'm surprised that we hit this high 3 times and we shifted down, came back up, more liquidity, and then we left this. We came up and we left this 2-minute inversion here, and then we traded back up to this high. I'm actually surprised this didn't just trade down towards this low, but it makes sense because this is also an order block from this range here. We hit the order block, traded back up on in, use the order block, inverse this 1 minute to go long from here. So I was wrong in my bias on that one, which is okay. I'm going to be wrong sometimes, and it's just like I knew we had these highs up here, but it was kind of hard to really play those highs based on all this liquidity that was just taken. But once we start getting our closures bullish again, like I know this 3-minute close bullish, but then we came right back down. I was like, okay, this is looking like we're going to start trading down lower, but obviously just wanted to come back into the range and use the 1050 macro started. Was actually started in the pre-macro, so that drove us up to those highs up there. So it really depends what we start getting. Do we start selling off, or do we just pull back and then go long again? But I'm gonna hop off. It's okay. Today was not a terrible day in my opinion. It was a good learning lesson based on this price action. But yeah, that's it. Take it easy, guys. Love y'all. Peace out.